Welcome back to Type Over 40. Yes, we're back on YouTube with more of our brand of nonsense. Rosie's back, I'm back, and he's back. Simon Horton's back with me again this time. Hello, Simon.
Hello, Dan. It's nice to be back. I almost forgot what I was doing there for a second. Nice to be back with you.
Isn't it? Well, people say to me all the time, what on earth are you doing? And I say to them, Simon, that Type Over 40, it is a after show, but it's also a before show, and it's an in-between show. Does that make sense to you?
None whatsoever, but hey, very little makes sense to me at my age, so it's all cool.
There you go. Of course, we are a sister channel, a sister playlist, if you like, to the Type 40 podcast, which is on the Fandom Podcast Network, where myself, Simon, Sarah Graham, the starry-eyed girl, and whoever else we can rope in week by week, they come in and have a chat about all things Doctor Who, past, present, and future. Yeah, and Rosie is on that too, but you can't hear her. She doesn't say much on that one. So yeah, we've got several podcasts. They come out most weeks, all manner of different subjects. And yeah, you can find that. We'll put some links in the show notes to all of this. You'll be able to find us there. For now, I like to start this. Well, it's all fun and games, isn't it? At the end of the day, but we'll start with a literal fun and game. My Doctor Who trivia quiz.
Well, hey,
we brought this out of the pack before. This is from Marks and Spencer's. This isn't from the pound shop. This is from Marks and Spencer's. So it ought to be a high caliber of question. But as we've established before, they can be very, very variable in this. So yeah, just to get us started, I've got a question here for you, Simon. We've brought it random out of the box.
Okay, go for it. If it's new series, I'm going to be stuffed like I was last time, but we'll see.
Your question this time is, okay, where would you find the Eye of Harmony?
Oh, gosh, that's a really difficult question, because I think I'm right in saying if you're looking at the classic series, it's on Gallifrey under the Panopticon. But if you're talking the Paul McGann movie, it's in the TARDIS, in the cloister room. So I think I'm right. But I'm going...
Yes, you're completely right. In fact, they're hedging their bets on this card too. It says in the TARDIS or on Gallifrey.
Oh, brilliant! Woohoo!
Yeah,
brilliant.
They've acknowledged that there is some sort of ambiguity there, because isn't it the Eye of Harmony is huge underneath the Panopticon? But I think the idea that they've sort of flirted with it is that it's also connected to each individual TARDIS, which have got their own.
Yes. I mean, it's a really topical question that you're asking there, because it ties into season 10, of course, because Omega was the one that the stellar engineer that blew up the black hole that resulted in the Eye of Harmony being produced. And so, yes, if you go back to the Deadly Assassin, then the Eye of Harmony absolutely is under the Panopticon, and that's what the Master is after. But then they really do fudge it in the movie by saying that the Eye of Harmony is in the TARDIS, and so I think fans have kind of justified by that by explaining, oh well, it's as you rightly say, Dan, it's kind of linked to the Eye of Harmony that's on Gallifrey and stuff. But hey, yeah, well, do I get 2 points for that then?
I don't. I think you should definitely get double points for that. Double, yeah, more than makes up for whatever the last question was. I know that was a bit brutal.
That was impossible. That was about the face about. Right, I've dug out for you my trusty Doctor Who quiz book.
What's it called?
So I'm going to throw a question at you, and there are 3 sections in here. There's easy, medium, and hard questions. Now I'm throwing you right in at the deep end here, Dan, because I'm going for a hard question.
Go on.
And I'm going to give you 2 points for this one as well. And actually, this is very, very topical, because this dates right back to November.
Oh,
so November 1963. So we're bang on with this as well. Here we go. In the first episode of Doctor Who, what is the name of the road on which the junkyard is situated, and who owns it? So that's a 2-point question for you.
Oh, that is. Well, I can tell you I can tell you not just the road, but I know what number it is. It's 76 Totters Lane.
You're correct.
And it's owned by I.M. Foreman.
You are spot on.
But it's Foreman with an Foreman. Not like
How
they got it in
geeky are we?
Remembrance of the Daleks.
Not like Remembrance of the Daleks. That's right, where they missed off the E.
Yeah, and even if people who may not know, that's the hard fact from 1963, just as Simon said. But in autumn of 1988, of course, they've returned to Totter's Lane in Remembrance of the Daleks, and they beautifully recreated and reimagined that original junkyard with the huge gates that looked like it was hand painted, but with all that care, all that attention. Somewhere along the way, what did they do, Simon?
Well, they spelled it incorrectly. They missed off the E, so it became Foreman, F-O-R-M-A-N. But you've just got me thinking now here, Dan. I've got to check on this. They do make the mess, the cock-up, you're quite right. But I'm trying to think, is it Remembrance of the Daleks, or is it Attack of the Cybermen that they misspell it in? Because the junkyard appears in
It does appear
Attack of the Cybermen as well.
Too, yeah, as a much smaller, obviously, because that takes place in '85, doesn't it? And it's
I think it might be.
Sign, isn't it? It's a little sign that's sort of set on a wall about so big, and it's been scrawled in, I think, chalk or something. I was only watching
remember now
the other week. I think
it's a while since I saw Attack of the Cybermen. It is, but I'm wondering whether it's Attack of the Cybermen that they get it wrong in, and whether Remembrance of the Daleks they then get it right in. I can't remember.
Oh, no,
somebody will tell us.
Definitely wrong. It's definitely wrong in Remembrance of the Daleks.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because somebody has even retconned that now to say, oh, well, that wasn't the original junkyard. That was government. That was a unit or the precursor to unit had sort of done that to try and sort of capture the Doctor. It's sort of very long and drawn out. It may have been in the book or something like that. But yeah,
you've got to love Doctor Who fans. We manage to geek everything, don't we? Let's be honest.
We pick up the slack where the BBC let us down like that. Is how I look at it. You know, and we've been. I mean, that was retconned. I think that was retconned in the '90s. Well, you know, not sure anybody really believes it, but that was retconned in the '90s. And we're still doing half their job for them now, aren't we? With particularly when it comes to Doctor Who history, yeah, and particularly when it comes to Daleks. Rosie, there are some new Daleks around. Have you heard this? There's some new kids on the block, or at least one new kid on the block. Have you heard about this, Simon?
Yes, yeah. I have heard about it. I've seen the photo. On which bridge is it? The photo's taken.
It's in Bristol. I know they've been filmed in Bristol. Several night shoots, and the Daleks were spotted by passers-by, by people, because I think they closed it off. But there's only so much you can close off a public walkway, isn't there? People coming back from the pub that night, and now everybody's got a phone with a digital camera set into it now, haven't they? They've got them on them all the time. So quite naturally, people started taking photographs of it, and this is what was reported. We've got a couple of images here from Bristol that night, clearly showing the gold Daleks, the bling Daleks that we've been so used to since 2005 there in the background. But right in the middle, there's a brand new Dalek, or is it? You know, may well be something else. It's a brand new Dalek sat in the middle in jet black, and it looks like, at the bottom there, it looks like it meets some sort of accident at somewhere along the way, because their parts of it are in pieces. But yeah, these are the two images that have been in circulation now for about a fortnight, and there was lots of passers-by talking about this. And it's the first real instance where the BBC haven't come down on it like a ton of bricks. In fact, the following day after this, BBC Radio Bristol, they were sharing the same pictures, an actual BBC channel. They were sharing it on their website and all sorts of things. So this was widely reported on, and to be fair, it has got people reasonably excited. But obviously, this is another redesign for the Daleks there, Simon. I know that the Daleks mean a lot to you, and they mean a lot to me too. What's your instinct looking at this?
Well, yeah, I mean, you say people are excited about it. Are they excited because they're pleased about it, or are they excited because they're very, very angry about it? I think it's awful. I'm sorry. I hate it for several reasons. It looks, I'm assuming, I don't know, because we'll find out whenever we see the episode. but I'm assuming that it's maybe some sort of reinvention of the rubbish Dalek in every sense of the word that we saw in the New Year special. What was that? Sorry, the
Resolution, the New Year episode.
No, that's the one. That's the one. Yes. So I'm assuming it seems to be some sort of reinvention of that, because we've got the stupid little top half. The whole thing just looks a mess. I don't like all the balls being misaligned. There's too much detail on it. There's too much going on it. To me, the beauty of the Daleks is the simplicity and the starkness of the design. And so this is, for me, is purely, it's just over-designed. It's just a case of, okay, well, we want to do Daleks, so we're going to change them. So what are we going to do? The only thing you can do with them is put more on them, put more detail, and put little painted panels on, mess the balls. It's just, oh, why? Just why? You know, did they not learn the lesson from the Teletubby Daleks that you just do not need to mess with that original design? The gold Daleks. Yeah, the gold Daleks that are in that shot are just absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with them. Just stop, please. Just stop. For me,
I think that I mean, firstly, I love the Daleks in jet black like that. I always like Dalek 6. So I think they do look striking in black, and I do believe that this is definitely the same. It'd be the same character, the same symbiote, the Dalek creature, the Dalek symbiote, whatever you want to call it, that survived the end of Resolution. Somehow has gone away and fashioned itself a new casing based on that original design. And has come back and obviously rallied some troops of some kind. So I think they're still hedging their bets here with not wheeling out an actual official redesign of the Daleks, sort of gently teasing the audience to see if we like it, I suppose, to see if people take to it. People didn't take to it in Resolution. I didn't think, I'm not as dark on it as you are, but I feel that because the story was so bad, and Chris Chibnall managed to make the Daleks boring, and over the course of an hour, so it's very difficult for me to remove it from what was a very tawdry episode of Doctor Who. So I wasn't as down on that original design. I quite like the idea of a Dalek being that resourceful and building something for itself. But to carry it through like this, I'm not so sure. The things about that design that I did like the dome, that's still there. And I've got nothing against some of the other alignments of where the weapons are. I think it stays true to the silhouette enough up to a point. But once you hit the skirt, I did think that it might have been a Dalek saucer, a reimagined Dalek saucer that would maybe help it fly into space or whatever, like we see in the TV 21 comics from the 60s and the 70s. Maybe that's what they were doing. But yeah, once you drop it into that, it looks like a cup holder, doesn't it, in an Audi or something?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because firstly, I agree with you. I love Black Daleks, but secondly, many years ago now, sometime during the David Tennant years, they released, funnily enough, I remember, an egg holder Dalek. I think it was it might even have been an Easter egg, and it was a black Dalek. It was a black ceramic Dalek, and it looked exactly the same as that Dalek that we're just looking at there. I'm sure. I think it was just, as I say, it was an egg holder or an Easter egg holder. And so to me, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. It just looks like an egg holder or something. It's just, I don't know. There's going to have to be a really good reason for me why they've put such a poor looking Dalek in again. I just feel that they are diluting the power of the Daleks. Why? Just why mess?
I think there probably is a time. I think it's high time that Daleks were redesigned a little. I think some of the bling Daleks are starting to look their age, and that maybe a new treatment. It is time for a new look at the Daleks, but you don't need to be that radical. And it's just, as you said, with the new paradigm Daleks, they were too radical with that, because they changed the silhouette almost entirely. And I'm sorry, Rosie, because you can hear that.
Yeah, we do. We love Rosie. We love Rosie.
Paradigm Dalek, and you can see here. But Rose, she's different. She's cute too. but it does alter the silhouette almost entirely, and the stature as well. And yeah, you really, I mean, you don't mess with design classics. People have got long memories, and you know, a good paint job or just finer details. There's so many things they could do now with the Daleks since the Bling Daleks to really liven them up and make them feel like 2020. That's not the end of it. There's new Cybermen too. Do you want to take a look at those?
Oh lordy, I didn't even know that they were new Cybermen. So these are completely new to me. I haven't seen these at all. Hit me with it.
Good a look at these, but here they are. Here's the new Cybermen out on manoeuvres. They were filming in. I think this was Barry Island. They were seen filming around August time, and you can get more of an idea, if anything, by the figures of the Cybermen extras there walking up the hill, because they've got spikes going up and down their legs.
Right. Okay.
See.
And it's very difficult to tell from that photo as well, but it almost looks with the helmets as though the kind of revenge of the Cybermen earmuffs are almost perhaps back. It's difficult to tell from that photo. I can't be certain.
The helmets do look different from the ones they've had since Nightmare in Silver, don't they?
Looking at the two sort of in the middle, the one that's on the middle row closest to us, the shape there looks like an earmuff, a revenge style earmuff more so, and even the two on the front row I seem to be able to pick out revenge shape earmuffs in those. I mean, my take on these again, if you're remotely interested, is I just don't like them. But then, to be honest, I haven't liked any of the 21st century Cybermen. Again, for me, they've messed it up since the RTD years. Again, for me, they were just over-designed. The simplicity of cyber design worked very well for me, and they're just too bitty. There's too many bits sticking off them. There's too many knobs. If you'll
We've got even more now with these spikes.
Exactly. And so, for me personally, I'm not knocking it. It's a perfectly adequate design. If I'd never seen Earthshock Cybermen, I'd probably be perfectly happy with those. But I have seen Earthshock Cybermen, and to me, those 80s Cybermen are the best, or maybe the Cybermen from the Invasion. Those style of Cybermen really are the ones that work for me. Personally, there's just too much going on with these, and there has been right the way through the 21st century with Cybermen. I feel they do need to get back to a more clean, simple, terrifying approach rather than endless bits stuck on to try and make them look interesting. To me, Cybermen don't need that. It's missing the point of Cybermen. Cybermen should be more blank. To me, I just don't get this.
That they got that. I think the face plates of the latest ones, I quite like the ones from Nightmare in Silver onwards, even though they were a little bit Iron Man from the waist down in particular, a little too sleek. I did like the general look of them. With this, they seem to be more like literal suits of armor. So maybe it's a period piece. Maybe it's on another world somewhere. So we're going to get another society where they would have evolved. And it looks like there are more joints and more things to see, and more going on in the chest area as well. It's obviously it is a blurry picture, and I think that my favourite thing about this is the guy sat behind them.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he's about as impressed as you are, I think.
I know, what a star. He's absolutely my star of that photo. He's clearly sitting there thinking, when is the tea break?
Yeah. So we got six Cybermen there. So yeah, Cybermen are back. Daleks are back, even though the BBC will not confirm that was the Daleks sighted. And these pictures they haven't gone into mass circulation, I don't think, but it's generally accepted that all the old foes are back. But of course, this is a bit of an about face for Chris Chibnall, because for last year he was there saying that using old monsters is a sign of bad writing, Simon. Apparently,
what a controversial thing to say.
There. We've got the Jadoon, we've got Cybermen, we've got Daleks. That's at minimum. There's talk of the sea levels too. So he's just got 10 episodes. What's the change of heart, do you think?
Well, do we really need to hypothesize on what the change of heart is? I think the only thing that I would like to know is whether it's come from Chibnall or whether it's come from the BBC. Somebody somewhere has finally realised that the last season did not work as well as they had hoped, and that's me sort of being diplomatic and polite. The BBC, I don't doubt, have realised that it was not what they were looking for. So I'd just be interested to know whether they kind of...
All reports are saying that the merchandisers are not happy as well. Anybody who's got a license for New Doctor Who has been asking questions about all of these designs.
That's right. And I mean, if you look back to that previous season, let's be honest, what really was there to market, to put into a toy to market? You know, a frog sitting in a chair. You know, I mean, what do you market?
IKEA could have done quite well out of it. They could probably have sold more of those chicken ears.
You think they missed a trick there?
Yeah. They still do the cuddly toys, the little cuddly frogs. You know, they could probably start selling those. Who knows?
Well, maybe, but I would imagine, the merchandisers, reportedly, it's debatable. I think there probably is some truth in this, that the merchandisers are not too happy with the last season, and so putting Daleks and Cybermen in makes absolute sense. But it's funny that Chris Chibnall sort of opens his mouth and puts his foot in it in a way, because if he has said in the past that using old foes was an excuse for lazy writing, that's something of a dangerous thing to say, and it's interesting, of course, because
very
we've just had season 20,
isn't it?
Well, yeah, and we've just had season 23 come out, which I am surprised to find that the Chris Chibnall piece is on there, where he appears on Open Air back in the day, criticising Pip and Jane Baker for poor writing, and his writing just hasn't been widely loved by a lot of Doctor Who fans on the last season. So you've got to be careful what you say, haven't you? Because you're quite right. Now he's backtracking and he's putting old monsters back in, and so doesn't that kind of prove his point that you only do it if you writing isn't up to scratch? I don't know. It's an ongoing debate, and I'm not casting any aspersions one way or another on anybody's ability, but it's interesting. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, I've said this recently. We just had Monica Duarte on the podcast, and she's from the Temple of Geek podcast, and she's a photographer, writer, and she hosts various podcasts and things. And we were talking a little bit about all of this, and I said there that these monsters, there is no point in bringing them back if you haven't got a story worthy of them. But if you've got a story that's about killer cyborgs, then of course you're going to use the Cybermen. Why wouldn't you? It's pointless having those things in the toy chest and not use them. These icons like her, all these unmistakable characters that are so marketable. But it really will depend on if Chris Chibnall's writing them himself, who of his cohorts that he's got in to do the dirty work this time. But it may not end there, because the rumour's coming now that he's also bringing back the Master. Not missing.
Oh my goodness! No, okay,
and specifically with this actor mentioned. This is Sacha Dhawan, who played Waris Hussein in An Adventure in Space and Time so memorably in 2013, and apparently he is the new Master, or could be the new Master.
Okay.
Nobody's been sighted on set, on location. I don't know where this has come from. We know that Sacha's a Doctor Who fan. He actively sort of petitioned for the role of the Doctor in 2017 when Peter Capaldi was announced as leaving. He said some lovely things about Doctor Who and how he'd always want to be involved in it. So it's quite likely, and I think he'd be brilliant. He played a bad guy in Iron Fist, the Marvel Netflix show about 2 years ago, and he was terrific in that. What are your thoughts on the Master coming back in his mind?
Well, I have to be honest. I've only seen this guy in An Adventure in Time and Space as Waris Hussein, as you say. I thought he did a great part in that. I have to be honest. Looking at this photo that you've popped up, oh, there we go. There's Waris Hussein. Looking at the previous photo, yeah. I mean, I have to be honest. He looks quite masterly in that photo. Put him in a black suit. I like the beard. I would like to see a return to a classic style of master, in a black suit and tie, and he looks absolutely the right person to be doing that. So I have to be honest. Yeah, I'm sold on it. I was really desperately uncomfortable with having the master regenerators Missy. Again, it's just a can of worms.
So was I. I can't pretend I'm on record on these podcasts. People know I didn't like the Missy. I never bought it for a single moment. That was the same character.
No, and neither did I, Dan. And it's a shame because I thought she did a fantastic part, acting wise. She was brilliant, and if they just put her in as, let's be really crass for a minute. If they put her in as the Rani, we would have been happy because she did a brilliant job. But I'm sorry, I can't take a character that was Roger Delgado, Anthony Ainley et al. Suddenly being regenerated as a woman, calling herself Missy. It's just excruciating. So I would really like to see a return to basics on this. And as I say, yeah, that photo that you put up there, turn that into a black suit. I'd buy that as the master. I'm very happy.
Look at that look in his eyes. I mean, obviously he's having fun there. At least I hope he was having fun at whatever at the Empire Awards. But he's still got that hawkish look, isn't he? I can so see that.
Yes.
And most importantly of all, he's a fine actor who I've seen him in so many roles. A lot of the time, I didn't even know it was him until afterwards. He just seems to be able to disappear into these roles.
My only thought on it, actually, and I didn't realise that he was sort of actively trying to get the role of the Doctor when it was up for grabs. My feeling is maybe it actually, if they do put him in as the master, maybe they are wasting him. He looks very Doctor-ish there as well. I can see him getting away as the Doctor very, very nicely. And so
it was my choice for the 13th Doctor. I will say that now. He was my choice.
I really can't comment too much to say because I haven't seen him in anything other than Adventure in Space and Time. But as I say, he was very good in that. And just looking at him in that photo that you posted there, I can absolutely see him playing the Doctor. And doing a really cracking job at it. So yeah, as I say, I just wonder whether they're wasting it. Having said that, I can see him being a brilliant master. So yeah, bring that on as far as I'm concerned.
So 1 out of 3 isn't bad, Simon. 1 out of 3. It's a pity it's the one we don't know if there's any truth in or not, isn't it? But I do believe, Doctor Who without the Master, it can't carry on for much longer, really, can it? It's just like the Daleks, like the Cybermen. It is inevitable that you'll be back to plague the Doctor again at some point in the near future. And, in this instance, obviously some people may applaud his change back to being a man. Others may find it, may not. But the way I see it, this character is a TV classic in his own right. And I think he's been done a little of a disservice, despite the fact that I love how committed Michelle Gomez is to the role, the fact that she's still playing her on audio. It could have been a lot worse, as we're presently seeing with somebody else in another role. And so it could have been a lot worse. But yeah, this looks a lot like the Master to me. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? If you've got any thoughts about the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Master, any other characters you'd like to see back, the Sea Devils, are they coming back? Who knows? Drop us a comment down there. Get in touch. You can email us. You can send us a message via Twitter or on Facebook at the Spacebook or Type 40. Yeah, like, subscribe and share. Simon and I will be back at some point in the future, won't we, for more of this sort of talk. More talk.
Yeah, I hope so. It's always nice to come back and do these. Send us some probing questions. Ask us some really, really difficult questions.
Yeah, get your quiz book out. See
if we can't see it. Give us something really difficult to try and work out and come back with an answer on. There's a challenge for you. Yeah,
send them in. Bounce them back to us. Send us a few questions. Try and outgun us. See if you can get us to test the length and breadth of our knowledge. It's all in good fun, isn't it? Or find us in the Facebook group and come and annoy us with all that there. Come and plague us there. Thanks for watching. And we'll catch you again soon. Bye-bye.